Okay, it's Roger, Mudfossil University, as promised, going to show you exactly how and where to find and how to process gold in your backyard. And you have it there. We all have it. And people don't understand it. They're inside the rocks. This guy here, Astro Bouncer, understands more than anybody I have met about geology. He has done the work of going and examining what's inside the rocks. So here goes. Listen to what he has to say.
Alright, so take a look at this. This looks like a bunch of sand, doesn't it? But in actuality, this is crushed quartz from some rocks I'm processing for gold. And I mean, it looks almost identical to what you'd find in a river. So you can see a river will do this naturally, what it takes me. A lot of hard work to do. But I'm going to pan this out later and show you the gold that's in there. I'm still crushing these rocks.
I'll just let it play here. This shows he's crushing it up and then he screens it and then he recrushes it and so forth.
There's all kinds of sulfides in there. Iron staining.
Now, before he broke them up, they just look like regular rocks. Once you get inside, there's a whole different thing going on.
There's some pyrite. And looks really good now. So it just goes to show you, you can't judge a rock by its outside appearance.
Alright, so that's another great key. People don't understand. They look at it and say, well, that's a certain type of rock. Well, it was alive once. It has biology inside. Okay, I've been watching his videos, and he's right on target, but he's missing the real money shots, which is the fingers and toes. But watch what he does here. This is Astro Bouncer again. Here he goes.
I don't see any visible gold, but that don't mean it's not there.
Now, he crushed it all up.
Okay, so I just got done crushing some quartz.
There's gold in it.
And that nice piece was in there, as well as all that fine gold.
Now he did a piece that really had almost no gold in it, so I'm talking a whole different issue if you know where the type of rocks to crush.
I hope it shows up on video. It's really small, but there's a lot of it. I just wanted to say about the quartz, just good to show you, you know, I brought back about 8 pieces, or even more than that, to crush, and there was 2 little specks of gold in them from thermal, and then I had another piece that it looked decent, but I really didn't think there'd be that much in it, and it was just loaded with fine gold. So
that's exactly what I'm talking about. You need to know what to look for. Alright, very simple rock crusher he's got here. Outstanding simplified knowledge. I love it. Here goes.
There, I got small quartz rocks in the bottom of this, so it's breaking it up from both sides when I'm crushing. See, that's the plunger for the other part.
He's going to he smashes them like that. Now, here,
right,
listen to this.
Crushing this rock next. This piece of quartz. I've noticed that the ones that are red tend to usually be better.
Exactly. Did you see? That's a big chunk of flesh. The red, the black, the brown. It's usually going to be a lung, a heart, something that's heavily infused with blood. He's exactly correct. Everything he's saying is correct. And you can do this in your backyard. He's going to crush that up. He's going to pan it out, and he's going to have gold. And I have here ones that I know there's literally ounces of gold in single toes, and I can show you that here. And of course, if you've seen Charlie, well, let's take a look at Charlie's. Now I'm going to refer you to this video that I just put up here from Charlie Fort. Found this golden toe, and that's a giant golden toe. This is his foot. That's the size of the toe. This is the fingernail. That is where the vein side is. This is where the arterial side is in the callus. I have this very well shown in great detail. It's 20 minutes long, but I'm just going to show you because people lose interest quickly. But this is called the unusual case of the golden toe, and that is on my YouTube channel, Mudfossil University. Now, let me just run this quickly through a couple of seconds here so that you'll see what I'm talking about. This is how veins and arteries go. That's blood. That's blood. Well, the gold is heavier. It's heavy. It's 20 times heavier than water. It's 20 times heavier than water. It displaces the blood, so it runs to the lowest part. Sometimes the blood and stuff runs out and there's no gold to fill it in, and what it gets filled in with is quartz. Sometimes the blood and the quartz together will be found, and that's normally the case. Now, just listen to this for a minute or two, and then I'll let you go about your business and go find some gold. Usually quartz involved with the gold because it's just part of the blood system. And that's where your blood collects. Now, bringing up that point, when I saw this huge gold toe, at first I was perplexed. Now, let me explain. All right, this is I guess I didn't explain. But what I was going to say was, how can there be so much gold in the human body? And to fill that whole toe. I don't think there's that much gold in us now. But at one time, there must have been a ton of gold in the environment. It's all been sequestered away, locked into these creatures that died in a great flood, and they collected in their blood, in their bodies, and solidified. So it's no longer in circulation. Plants don't eat it, nothing like that. There is a lot of gold just floating around that's being eroded off, yes, but nothing like there was at one time, it appears. Now, whether they were eating monatomic gold, and that was said in the past, or there was just an excessive amount of gold in the environment. That is also a possibility. Now, I'm going to just go a little further. You can see this is a toe, a finger, and that is also a fingertip, and it's solid gold, and it's much bigger. These things are just not understood. And what I'm going to explain is that in certain cases, the toe is still there. The toe is still there, or the finger is still there, but what's inside of it, the blood, has turned to what you'll see right here. Now watch. This is a tiny little tip of a finger, and that's where the blood came out on the side. Now, believe it or not, I believe this is a micrometeorite. Let me just say something right now. This is a good point to bring this up. I believe this is a micrometeorite that came through the atmosphere and scorched and seared this surface, and you'll notice it's shiny. I believe the glazed walls and the glazed surfaces in the past were made from unsolidified flesh. It was still soft to a degree. It was like putty, but all of the organic stuff was washed out of it, to speak of, and it was a fleshy mass, and then they seared the surface. Exactly what happened to that coming through space into the Earth atmosphere and scalding it and searing it and making it glaze the surface. Came through space and burnt up on the way in and just blistered. That's the ball at the tip of the fingertip, and you'll see the other one I have over here that's gold. These are the pads underneath. This is literally the same as that, only it's facing this direction. See that stalk right there? See that stalk? See that bloody little stub? The artery. Alright? The vein side is over here, I believe. Now, look, this is the same as that. That's the tip. This big ball at the end is the same as this ball right here. All right, now, Mike's claim is that there is going to be fingers around that are inside of stone that is what's inside of them. This is not, it's exactly the same thing. Now, obviously, this is not gold, that's gold. Now, the point being is that that was a fingertip. This is also a fingertip, and this is solid gold. The pads, where the pads were here, pads have turned into solid gold. In between here, there's a lot of blood where this has been burnt off. And that's where the actual artery sticks out. That was where the blood came out. All right, it's just turned into solid gold because it purged all the blood and the gold clogs up. Now, of course, there is this stuff. Now, what they can do. Now, don't forget, gold is 20 times heavier than water. So if you took a jug of a gallon of milk, which is virtually water, it weighs like 9 pounds, and that would be water, 9 pounds. If you had that full of gold, that same container, it would weigh 160 pounds or more. Is put these in salts and acids. There's different solutions they can use to leach all this stuff out of here and then end up with just solid gold. Now let me show you that. I think I showed you this, but this is how. All right, let me just finish it off with this because it's pretty obvious what's going on. You have to watch these videos to see. Maybe I can show you one quick shot of my big toe here and how another crusher would work. But you can see the tips of these. The blood comes down. You see, this is what's in the fingertips. The gold is what's in the blood. This is where you want to look. Now, hearts and lungs have a lot of gold, a lot of blood in them. They don't seem to have the gold because as much as these parts, because these are the extremities. These are the distant places where the blood runs to, and it seems to purge out of there. I have, well, here, let me go over and show you the final result of this and how you can go out and find some of your own gold, because it's right in your backyard. They just don't understand it. And when I watch these shows where they're sifting off, trying to find little tiny grains of and destroying the environment, it's absolutely not necessary. Gold is everywhere, and there is literally thousands of tons of gold underneath these giant no-toe feet, and they're just too deep. They never have gone that deep. When the gold plays out and they're just hitting more raw quartz, they give up and go home. Well, this one guy in Australia went 1,600 feet deep and found a 198-pound chunk and another chunk. Between the two chunks, it was $15 million apparently of gold. Then he went back 2 weeks later and found two more chunks, another couple $1 million. So it's there. It's just way down at the bottom because the gold is so heavy it displaces everything. That's the nature of the beast. Now, the ones that are on the top of the surface, some will have gold in them, some won't. Depends if the guy was laying flat or he was standing up. These giants that were drowned in the mud and stuck in the mud and were buoyant in the mud, they all ran to their feet. So that's where it's going to be found in them, just like the one Charlie found. Okay, this is a fingertip, and I don't believe there's much gold in this, but the blood ran out of here and forced its way out from the arterial side, and it solidifies. It ends up being garnets. All blood turns into crystallized different minerals. You see all the little strappy things. That is the grip skin nature of strappy fibers stuff, and of course this is the internal. I'm sure there's gold in here, but this is not a major source of gold. When they get like this one here, different issue. That's a giant toe, and the black side here is the vein side, which purged out. Which normally they don't do that. The reason it purged out of here, when normally you see this. Whoops, got a lung in the way. All right, now, the reason it purged out of this side instead of the other side is because of the callus. But now you can see, whoops, let me come out here a little bit. This was the toenail, and that is the black part. It all turns blackish, and there's a lot of blood underneath this toenail. There's a big pad of blood under there. And that was the toenail. Now this side here, whoops, got another lung in the way. This side here is where all the callus collected over the top of the arterial side. Normally that red blood would blow out of here just like the red blood blew out of here because there's no callus on the tip of your finger. Now, instead of blowing out, all the gold started collecting here. I don't know if you can see all those little shiny particles in there, but that's all gold, and and different metals. Now, in the other video I have, I show it in a microscope. Very easy, but this is like a patch over the top of the gold. Inside of here, I don't know how much gold is in there, but I know there's a good quantity of gold. That thing is heavy. That thing weighs over 30 pounds, and it is what it is. It's a fingertip. I mean a toe, and it's loaded with minerals, and they all have a seam right across there, just like that. We're made in layers, and this underneath is the pad that's underneath of your toe. Same thing that you have. All right, now I'm going to finish it up by showing you that there are ways. People are making their own little rock crushers and things. Not hard to do. If you're a tricky guy, like a simple stone crusher. Whoops. They're taking, you need some heavy-duty metal to mount this on, some good solid hardware, but a flapper that just goes boom, 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 something like an eccentric, on a wheel, and you just throw the stuff in it, and it works its way down into that crusher. Then you do pan it, or however you're gonna. There's other people that are smelting it, and getting very good quantities of gold from just in their backyard rocks. There's no reason to go and do what they're doing by just sifting through the dust and ruining everything else. The rocks that they're throwing on the side and thinking is no good, that's where the stuff came from. That's where it came from. So I would say a different strategy might work. But you have to understand where to look. Look in the fingers, look in the toes.